baby. Pseudo killers, what up? What up? What up? Check. Tapping in, what's the subject? Evolution to revolution, we ain't done yet. Laying flat like Sanchez, it's a bomb threat. I know my flow like Angozi. Source up and show me, homie. You shut up and mute up a moment. The mad scientist, I'm knowing all the components. We own it, and we gon' off it if it's pseudo. You do know we don't entertain that keyboard judo. That big body banger out of Baltimore. Done it all, shopper folks. Sold a little something, but I taught you more than your average teacher. I had to reach you at your level to bring you up. No devil can ever beat you. With precision of a magi, the information supplied by some guys get debunked on live. CK and Juju, I chill in the cut. But if you boys wanna fade, then I'm chefing you up. I organize lie, the beats are disorganized truth every time. Kudos, who those niggas? Decorated pseudo killers. Space sage Africans, back again. An organized lie, the beats are disorganized truth every time. Kudos, who those niggas? Decorated pseudo killers. Space sage Africans, tapping in. I always been fly, that's an actual omen. You can catch me in the sky, ask Anthony Bowman. He see me with his telescope, I was actually floating off some good kush. The Sadio is actually growing. See, Gullah Gullah and Kent is where the money gets spent. Them boys got some books that cost as much as your rent. The second verse should be smash Rockwell, but I rock well. Underground like Sumerian Rockwells. In the ring like I'm the Rockwell. Hell, create a different wave that can rock whales. Hell, shit swell like lunatides. My entendres off Gandra to who describe. Euthanize foolish guys. Scholastically, haphazardly. Turn your camera on and look me in my eyes. And please do subscribe. 8 to 80, blind, cripple, or crazy. You in for a new surprise. It's DQ, a organized lie. The beats are disorganized truth every time. Kudos, who those niggas? Decorated pseudo killers. Space sage Africans, back again. An organized lie. The beats are disorganized truth every time. Kudos, who those niggas? Decorated pseudo killers. Space sage Africans, tapping in.
Black African power. What's good? What's happening? A well-organized lie defeats a disorganized truth every time. Woo-hoo-wee. Man, y'all already know what it is, man. It's God killing a house. And I'm coming to do what I got to do. And I'm going to do what I got to do. I'm standing tall. I'm standing strong. Hey, y'all know what it is, man. Bobby banging this bitch. What's good, family? Hate to do it, but I got to do it. Man, look, hit that like and subscribe, man, to get us going, man. You know what it is, man. So what's the typo? I don't see the typo, bro. Smash ScamWells and the broken arrows. That's what it is. Simple as that. We're going to get right to it, man. We need to stop playing these games, man, and bananas. I mean, complete bananas, bro. The whole situation is bananas. And it's bananas because we have not reached the apex of actually understanding what science is and what it is not. Simple. Important. Ancient history. What did you just say? Hope you address the fact that they say black divine bulls is literally Kemet. Come on, man. Y'all remember, first of all, I'd like to say hi to the family. And we talk about intellectual gunfighters, intellectual warfare. We talk about when we really have something to say, when we put our words together, when we're dealing with claims, right? The first person to start to actually call names in the claims mean they ran out of bullets and they throwing their gun. You know, when you throw your gun, you ran out of bullets. So, as we move the platform towards bringing experts on, you had to kind of curve, the way you were saying things. But we have idiots amongst us. Smash ScamWells. He's an idiot. He doesn't want the conversation to continue. He wants to throw his guns. He wants to show experts that we brought on, which is fine, but he want to put words in the title like coons. Why would he do that? Why would he put those people, those credentialed people, right, who are connected to universities? Why would he put them in that type of light? Why would he do that? What's the point? You got to ask yourself, what's the point once we done brought the experts on? What's the point in putting coons and all that? Why would we do that? There are plenty of other words he can call me that ain't that daggone offensive. So, King's monologue, he called his what's the guy's name? I don't even know the black dude. They always say I can't even remember the daggone name of it. He called us that name, which is wild, right? I try to forget such offensive terms, right? Why? I'm not calling them coons, Uncle Ruckus. I'm not calling them Uncle Ruckus. Have y'all noticed that? I haven't done that. I don't think those guys are that, based off of their misunderstanding and lack of understanding of scientific literacy. I don't think that makes you a coon. I don't think that means you dancing for white people, Uncle Ruckus, because you don't understand science and scientific terms and reading scientific literature. I don't think that. I just think you got to brush up on it. I think you would have to learn that before you stand with your chest out in front of the people. That's it. So why they feel that way about me and the pseudo killers? You got to say, what's the reason behind putting offensive titles, knowing that that would cause experts not to want to be on our panels? We already know this. That's why they don't come around anyway. That's why a lot of black academia don't even come around us. People that look just like us, yo. Oh, we got the emails. Those black academics saying, I don't want to be around that. They don't know how to act. We tied to certain universities. We don't want them shown in that light. So then, if I know this, then they know this. And they know as long as they keep creating that climate of coons and Uncle Ruckus and all that, they ain't going to want to come around. They know this. And see, as long as the experts aren't coming around, you can't hear how experts will correct the YouTubers. There's a difference between being a YouTuber and a person that's qualified and credentialed in the field of study that we're talking about. It's a difference in the conversation. It's the difference in the nuance. And the people I'll be having these discussions with on YouTube, they know this, just like y'all know this. So we got to ask ourselves, what the hell is going on? Now, once the conversation had moved to showing the experts and what they had to say about our dialogues, that is when the game changed. It's like in the days of the intercontinental ships with sails, wooden ships as they traversed the planet. And that first ship was created with that steel hull, encased in wood, but it had a steel hull. Those wooden ships, and all wood, the moment that first steel hull ship hit the water, they became obsolete. So now they feeling the pressure of being able to say any damn thing, because that's what the pseudo has been doing for years. Experts wouldn't even address it. It took the pandemic for scientists and experts to get into these conversations. That's when they realized it was totally out of control. I've been saying that for years. But once the experts came on, you just being a YouTuber, running your mouth, acting like you got a groundbreaking discovery, acting like you the guy, the only one winning, it went obsolete. And that's why they name call. Because now you're not looking at them as the authority. You're looking at them as, now if you're not scientifically literate, you're actually thinking that from your seat in YouTube, a couple hours a day, 3 hours here, 3 hours there, that you're thinking the person could actually overturn experts and expertise. You're actually thinking that. But that's based off of your level of scientific literacy. If you're not literate in matters of science and understanding how academia works, how science works, what is the scientific method, what is a hypothesis, what is a theory, scientific theory. If you're not educated in all that, you'll make the mistake and get caught up in the fool's game of those playing like they're the experts. Simple as that. You'll get caught up in that. You'll actually think that I'm an expert. You'll actually think that ScamWells is an expert. You'll actually think that the King's monologue can actually take a statue and do a forensics analysis on a damn statue. You'll actually think that these things can happen. But let me let you know right now, that idea of thinking that I'm an expert and ScamWells an expert and everybody's an expert, those days are obsolete and are completely out of order at this junction, because the experts have spoken and they continue to speak. That's why they'll put wild titles in it to discourage us from listening to the experts. Because if you listen to the experts, you'll start to get a profound understanding. And oh, by the way, when they finally do get enough heart to bring an expert to critique their work, and the expert beat the brakes off of them, you'll hear them confuse the audience by saying the experts agrees with us and this, that, and the other. You'll hear all of that in play. When I just sit back, I don't have to talk over the experts. I don't have to play the experts, right, in the middle of an interview before you've even seen them in an interview and talk over them and act like the experts said something they did not. We don't have to do it. I'm going to make plenty of mistakes, more than the experts do. And I own up to them. But not the pseudo. The pseudo makes a living off of you not understanding the material. The pseudo makes a living off of the fact, right, that you're not locked into the experts, like with your dictionaries and all the things needed. They are relying on you not to be able to get to it because they act like they can only get to it, to the level where they are doing more than the experts do. How? They're actually overthrowing the field of experts. And then it's whack-a-mole, where you bust their head right here and they pop up over here with something else that kind of sounds familiar. It sounds familiar, but it ain't quite that. And your brain scrambles and you like, oh, okay. You should think about what the argument is, and you should think about what my stance is. So first, let me tell you what my stance is, so we can just get this clear so y'all understand it. From day one, I did it on purpose. I used the Wikipedia article that we could all go to, and we could all read what my stance is. My stance has not changed over the last 3 years of this conversation. Only places my stance has changed when I've gotten something wrong or overemphasized points that shouldn't be, overextended myself. We understand that scientists never speak in absolutes, right? So when I've done that, I've came back and corrected myself. But fundamentally speaking, there's a core understanding of what I've said that nobody can take away from me. None of them. One, that the Egyptians are an indigenous African population. Had niggas fighting for that. No, they died, because they didn't understand evolution. And they didn't understand that indigenous doesn't mean not mixed with other populations coming in at the boundaries, whether north or south. I've consistently said that interjecting race into the conversation, like black or white, is anachronistic. Early Egyptologists, they put in, they infused concepts of the Egyptians are white or they're this. That was racializing the conversation. And they racialized black. I have been consistent in saying this. And for that, I got to take the brunt of the foolery. Go figure. All I said was they was indigenous black people. And during those time periods, they would have never called themselves black, because that would be anachronistic. Must we look up the word anachronistic? And I simply said, if you're saying that the Egyptians call themselves black people, then you're completely out of cultural context. That you're stopping the voices of the very people that you're talking about. You're actually promoting racism, white supremacy, because it was racism, white supremacy that killed the voices of indigenous people by injecting their own ideas, their own cultural bias on indigenous populations that wouldn't have known nothing about them. That has been my stance. It has not changed fundamentally. The conversation was that the Egyptians didn't call themselves black people. That was the conversation. Now, oh, you're anti-black. What are you talking about? Now, oh, you're saying the Egyptians are some outside population. Oh, now the pseudo killers is coons. All that. Because I said that the indigenous people in the Nile Valley was indigenous to the Nile Valley? Oh, you this. Oh, really? Oh, you going against the blackness. I say black African power. That's my statement. Now I got nuts using my statement, black African power, as if they popularized the shit, as if they even understood it. I even had to put black African power in Chat GPT, and it said, Brother Unc is credited with that, and this is what he meant. I had to do all of that for y'all. Wild, but I took it. And I kept it pushing. When it was time to call your mother name, I did that. When it was time to bang, I did that. I did all of that. But my stance has been very clear. What the hell is their stance? Now, all of a sudden, when the experts come into play, oh, I agree with them. How? Then why would we have argued? Well, we weren't talking about race. Well, what the hell was we talking about? What is their stance? Do y'all know? Because if the stance is that the Egyptians called themselves black people, every single expert we brought said different. Every single expert they brought said different. They said no, they never called themselves that. We argued for months over the Saturn statement, and people act like they couldn't read, and I recognize they really couldn't read Smash ScamWells. He can't read. Now all of a sudden he changed it up when he brings an expert on that says the same thing I was saying. But what was it I said? I said that they said they never called the people in the Hitherlands black. They said they would have if they would have said it this way. Would have. Nigga didn't understand what would have was. Now all of a sudden he agrees with his expert that said the same thing. They would have, meaning they didn't say it. I don't understand, bro. I don't understand this mode of fighting to confuse people. I don't understand Smash ScamWells having individuals that are pseudo on his platform. I don't understand that. I don't understand the taking time out to critique a presentation before you put it on your platform. I don't understand it, dude. I don't understand the wholesale promotion of pseudoisms. I don't understand it. And I'm going to stay fighting. I'm going to give you what you're asking for because I don't understand it. And when I don't understand something, I kill it. Kill the noise. Kill the foolery. I'm armed and dangerous. And they know it. See, they need me to sign off on that garbage, don't they? They need me to sit pat. They need me not to understand the conversation. I don't sign off on pseudoisms. I'm thoroughly educated on what the conversation is and what it is not. What is their stance? Did the Egyptians call themselves black people? Did they? No, they did not. According to ScamWells, they did. Fine. The experts say there's no evidence for it. So since you are overthrowing the experts, that's your thing. Don't put it on the rest of us. Go ahead with your little group of pseudos, right? Because the whole Magi Archer is wrought with pseudoisms. The whole lot of them. Run their mouth, talk crazy. 1 minute they agree with the experts. The next minute the experts don't know what they're talking about. They're very incoherent in their approach. And they do a great job, smoke some weed, be high as a kite, right? And do a great job of confusing us. What is this stance? Do y'all know? We're not talking about race. The black. The black what? The black. Huh? Oh, the cows. The cows. The Pharaoh is saying that the cows is humans. So I realize that even as an expert speaks, ScamWells, listening comprehension is trash. Y'all know it. He'll play a clip and say the exact opposite of what the experts say, and then frame it as if the experts were saying what he was saying. And we sit here in complete confusion. But I got something for that. I got something for that. Underestimation is a motherfucker. Underestimation will get you got. So let's just stay right here in this conversation. Let's make it right here. Big up to the chat. Bitterman, what's going on? I see you set. What it do? Alex Torres, man, what's going on with you, man? Raymond Bear, what it do, man? Josie Breeze, what's good, man? The whole effing show. What's going on? Everything is everything. Y'all know what it is, man. I see you, DQ. Contrary think, I see you. Nah, tell you what. Nah, I don't even want to see the saying. I don't even want to see the saying. Arrows up. Bow. Shot him. Miss Tiffany, what's good? More one, you a hater. But I appreciate the haters. I ain't changed no damn conversation. What? We can go back to it. We know what the conversation is. Did the Egyptians call themselves black? That's always been the conversation. That's the conversation. That's the conversation. We know that's the conversation. That's the conversation. It changed with other individuals, but with that guy and that whole group of nuts, that's what that is. We know what it is. We're not going to allow you to change it and control the narrative with some wild thinking and wild concepts. We know exactly what it is. Crazy, craziest thing ever. I see you, Lois. What's good? Yeah, I see you, Crypto Zella. Yeah, I see you. But y'all won't hit that link. What's going on with you, Cedric? What it do? Fetty, what's going on with you? Egyptomania is rough. Why do they use derogatory terms knowing in their titles when they know the experts is watching our thing? They know it. They know it. They know it because they don't want the experts sniffing around the conversation. We changed the game over here, is what we do. We went from allowing them to play experts to actually bringing experts. So let's get the foundation going here. Let's foundation it up. Look, they just say anything. Look. What the hell is he talking about? He don't know. He caught up. He don't know what he's talking about. Look. He blocked from Zoom. He don't know what he look. They just talking. Look, saying anything. Look, they don't care. Nobody actually cares. But watch this. Let me show you. I'm gonna do what they never can do. So we're gonna lay it out real pretty for you. We want to start off with some terms so we can kind of understand what it is, right? So we'll do this first. We'll show the screen on this right here, right? We want to understand what cultural context is, man. And I appreciate everybody that's just joined in, man. And I appreciate everybody that's right here listening, yo. I just appreciate that, man. I feel like that's very, very important, man. Let me see if I can get this right here. Let me do this. Where is this? Here you go. Real simple. We're going to do this 1, 2, 3 amongst the people who are illiterate. We want to go with cultural context. Now, I talked about how important cultural context is. So when you're looking at an ancient population, right, it is important when reading their words, right, to put in this proper cultural context. If you're trying to translate that the quote unquote ancient such and such or whatever, blase, had jet fuel, right? The translation will be out of cultural context. You might could translate it like that, but in its cultural context and in the grand scheme, it makes no sense based off the environment of not even having jets or cars or anything remotely needing jet fuel. So the definition is cultural context refers to the beliefs, the values, the customs, the social practices that shape the way people think. So we're trying to figure out how is it or what is it that these ancient populations are thinking? What's running through their minds? What's running? Are they thinking about going to the club, getting in a Tesla? Is that running through their mind? At 2500 BCE? Is it? That's finished. Behave, how they think, how people, the way they think, the way they behave, and communicate within a particular society or group. It helps readers understand how cultural factors influence the meanings of text. This is the most important part, y'all. This is where they all fall down. You'll hear the experts that we will continue to bring will emphasize these points. One, because as an expert, they understand how important and proper it is to put things in its proper context. It says it helps readers like y'all and me understand how cultural factors influence the meaning of text. Analogy. Cultural context is like wearing different colored glasses that affect how you perceive the world around you. Just as cultural context shape our understanding of literature and language, these glasses filter out interpretations of reality based on our cultural background. Damn. Man. Just as cultural context shapes our understanding of literature and language, these glasses filter out interpretations, man, of reality based on our cultural backgrounds. What is our cultural background in America? If you go back to where colonialism intersected with indigenous African populations, that's the starting of our cultural background that would lead to our situations now. What is the first thing the colonial powers did? Let's go. What is the first thing they did? They racialized us. They changed our names. Since we all slow and act like we're not understanding, white people. When did they become white people? In the 1600s, along when you came black people. Here you go. It's a racialized classification. Racialized. There we go with racialized again. See? Of people generally used for those mostly European ancestry. It is also a skin color specifier, although the definition can vary depending on the context, nationality, ethnicity, and point of view. Let's come right to here. Let's see. Let me come right here. Racialized slavery. It says the term white race and white people defined by their light skin amongst the physical characteristics entered the major European languages in the later 17th century when the concept of unified white achieved greater acceptance in Europe in the context of, racialized slavery and social status in European colonies. The scholarship on race distinguishes the modern concept of pre-modern descriptions, which focuses on the physical complexion rather than the idea of race. Prior to the modern era, no European peoples regarded themselves as white, but rather defined their race in terms of their ancestry, ethnicity, and nationality. I'm focusing on white people because if I start talking about black people, y'all gonna act like y'all done lost y'all mind. So now I want you to understand when white people became white people. I think this to be important. Contemporary anthropologists and other scientists, while recognizing the reality of biological variation between different human populations, regard the concept of a unified, distinguishable white race as a social construct with no scientific basis. Interesting. In Egypt. See, this is why this conversation keeps coming up. Because we can't even talk about social constructs and all that if we don't talk about Egypt, because Egypt is where they start their anthropological studies at. So that's why I'm in the conversation. I can't tell you why everybody else is in the conversation. I'm promoting scientific literacy. Shout out to Dr. Mayat. Shout out to Dr. Mayat. Yeah, it would definitely be a problem. It would definitely be a problem if you was to bring concrete Corey on anything I'm on. That's an issue for me. Definitely that. I don't give a damn who like him, who don't. That ain't what I'm doing. I ain't doing it. I ain't a kid. I ain't a toy. I ain't doing it. I'm not hanging out with Chief X. I'm not doing none of that. That's not what I'm doing. Yeah, that's an issue for me. I draw the line. Straight issue with me. I don't play with these kids. Y'all play with them. Yeah, that's an issue for me. That's a deal breaker. All day, every day. Not smooning, not making up. I ain't doing none of that because they play too damn much. and they play with the hearts and the minds, and they scam the intellectual real estate between your ears. That's why I'm like I am. That's why I'm doing. I don't do the Sarnetta thing where we make up after you to say what you wanted to say. Nah, dog, I'm good. I can meet a whole nother set of human beings that can say the same types of things. So I don't need the trash around me, because if you keep the trash around you, you start to smell like the garbage. Snakes all behind your back talking wild. Yo, I smell them and I see them all day, every day. That's why I'm alive today, because I see the snakes crawling in the grass, and I know what to say to make the snakes raise their damn ugly heads all day, every day. So anyway, back to the conversation. Nina Dabrowski. Nobody seems to know who Leblonsky is these days. It say in ancient Egypt as a whole, people were not designated by color terms. You would think so based off what the African Americans are saying. Egyptian inscriptions and literature only rarely in instances mention the dark skin color, the Kushites of Upper Nubia. It say we know the Egyptians were not oblivious to skin color. However, because artists paid attention to it in their works of art to the extent that pigments at the time permitted. There you go. Once again, there's no scientific basis for the socially constructed information that was put together, racialized by quote unquote white people that wasn't even white people before the 17th centuries. So if they wasn't white people before the 17th centuries, then when the hell was black people black people? Let us move on. Black people. Is the racialized classification of people usually a political and skin color based category for specific populations with mid to dark brown complexions? It's political. So when I say Black African power, it's a political statement. It's not a scientific statement. When I explain the beauty of the black race, when I explain and say that I'm black and I'm proud since the age of 6, never forgotten that. When I talk about the beautiful skin of the sisters and how radiant their skin color is, political statement, not a scientific statement. When I say black people, when I say I'm black and I'm proud, it immediately puts you in the proper cultural context of who I am and what I'm talking about. I'm telling you that my ancestors was tarred and feathered, murdered and raped at the hands of colonial powers that call themselves white people. When I say black African power, I'm recognizing my beautiful blackness and my ancestries in Africa. When I say black power and hold the fist up, I'm saying the love for the struggle in the 60s is there. Like I feel them beautiful black people that fought in the struggle through Jim Crow, through slavery, through Jim Crow, civil rights movements. Respect the Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. Throw the fists up. Black Panther Party. I'm saying I recognize that. And I recognize our fight from being nigger, the Negro, the colored, the Afro-Americans, the African-Americans. I'm saying I understand all that when I make the statement. And I'm saying I ain't got to move from that because I'm Black African power and I understand clearly what it means to be black in America after going through the lenses and the strain of colonialisms. There was a need to fight against the derogatory information that promoted to our children about our skin color and how our skin color made us inferior. There was a need to put up the fist and say, I'm black and I'm proud. But I'm trying to tell you, in 2500 BCE, 1500 BCE, those ancestors in the valley, in West Africa, in South Africa, in North Africa, in Northeast Africa, there was no need for any of that, because they knew their names. I say it over and over again. Slavery steals and robs you from your language Language is culture. Slavery robs you from understanding who you are based off of the cultural containers, based off of your identification in which you identified yourself as. Because if you understand your names and your indigenous names, it's going to take you back to your indigenous tribes you came from. They took all of that. And in taking all that, you had no recourse but to fight for something that was uniquely yours. All humans fight to name themselves. And we turned the negative into a positive. But I'm not going to allow those amongst you who are ignorant in their approach of understanding scientific literacy. I'm not going to allow them to place that mantra of black this and black power on an ancient people that had no need to even fight against colonialism because they never was colonized. The very fact that I say black power and black African power lets you know politically I'm still fighting against colonial thought. But if you're not smart enough to know that, you're going to be confused. People will come amongst you and say, look at them. They like the Moors. The Moors start talking about we was white people. The Moors said, don't call yourself black. The Moors forgot that us as African Americans chose to call ourselves black and African Americans. We only did the age-old thing of naming yourself. We did the age-old thing from changing negative to a positive. The Moors got that wrong, so don't clump me with them. I'm never saying that African Americans or people who range in skin color should never call themselves black. I'm just saying if you can get back to your indigenous name, which African Americans cannot, then you should probably do it, and that should come first. And even if you want to continue to call yourself black, understand what your indigenous names was. I'm saying that's par for the course. That means you know your history. That's all I'm saying. Us as African Americans, there is not a technology that can get us back to that space. So I'm comfortable with being a black American all day, every day. It's the deceiving people that want to make it sound like it's anything else but that. And they'll black you to death. I ain't never confused. I'm right where I'm at. I see the haters in the chat. Haters make you better because they make all kinds of mistakes and give you material to beat the brakes off of them. So let us continue. Racialized. So they racialized us. They not only racialized us, they racialized themselves. What is racialization? It's important to know this. Racialization or ethnicization is a social concept used to describe a political process. See, this is a process of as ethnic and racial identities to a relationship, social practice, or a group that did not identify itself as such. This is important. So what this means is that the colonial powers came in and racialized you. But for social practice, or group that did not identify itself as such. So we did not identify ourselves as such, but you got people amongst you that claim we did. And they lie and deceive and cap on all that. Let me finish. It says, or the infusion of race in the society's understanding of human behavior. It says, it models racial dominance as the process by which a dominant group racializes a dominated group. Key words here. Dominant group racializes a dominated group. Who got dominated during the 1600s? Indigenous people around the world got dominated by colonial powers. And what happened to this domination? They racialized us. They gave us names. At this point, If you don't understand that, you just a hater. And I got to say it because this is clear as that. And it's so damn clear, right, that the haters should be crying right now in the chat because they got that veil of ignorance over their damn eyes all day, every day. Mm, 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 mm. Look, this is another effect of colonialism. You'll start to blame everything on white people. In the middle of a conversation, when your answers are wrong and the experts say you was wrong and don't agree, you'll say, well, the only reason they ain't saying it because they white. That's when you know you lost the conversation. That's how you know you lost the conversation. When you say the white man's science, that's how you know the white man's anthropology. And then when you put emphasis on the scientific racism that was in Egyptologists in 2024, when you emphasize that as if the field has not changed their stances over time, when you emphasize that, that's the tell, ladies and gentlemen. So listen real closely for people saying, well, it's racism in Egyptology, this and that. That's not to say, because we understand that racism, right, is still around. So we all clearly understand that. We understand that racism is still in institutions in America. We understand that race relations in America is strange and trying. We understand that. Clearly understand. So you don't have to say that. Maybe your answers and your methodology are just wrong. Could that be a possibility? Go find some black Egypt. If you think the color of your skin makes you have a better answer, then go find somebody look just like you, because I did. We know Deborah heard, and we heard what she said to Robert Clown. We clearly heard what she said, but they didn't say nothing about that. They all hid from that beautiful black sister and what she said. She said, we don't call Egyptians black people. That's racism. We don't use that type of language. Big up to the sisterhood. So let's get right to it. All right, let me get you this source right here. So we at hold on. Let me get right here. Let me see. Let me get right to the source. Man, goodness. Let me see where that's from. All right, racialized. Okay, so I'm gonna come here. We go to the wiki, and it's gonna take you to a source you need to get. I want y'all to read this. Racialization. So we just read what racialization is, right? Wild, right? So we understand that a dominant group racializes and look, a group that is dominated, yo. So that's clear what you need, right? So let me come to the source right here. Okay, so we talked about the infusion of race in a society's understanding of human behaviors, right? So we want to come right here. This is a great source right here. Get this book. It's about $70. The Arc of a Bad Idea, Understanding the Transcending Race. It says a variant of racialization as a development of races is illustrated in the work of Omni and Winnett, who uses the term racial formation instead of racialization. It's a conceive of races arising from the process of historically situated projects in which human bodies and social structures are represented and organized. This usage acknowledges the problematic nature of the concept of race in terms of its lack of scientific validity. Right? So we talking about scientific validity. Nevertheless, while also recognizing that it is also You can't pin it down. There's no real understanding of race. It's over here, it's over there. The Egyptians is black, the Adam and Eve's islands is black, but they're not really black. All that is infusing to the conversation. It will never get you to understanding the culture you're trying to talk about, not unless you really get into the African Americans and you give a complete history. Confusion. Out of orderness. No way to really get to the point. That's the game. They want to play in the gray area. So as long as we can preach black, you can make everybody black. We're going to find out in this next source. Let me see. Intrinsically bound up in beliefs, which are central to everyone's identity and understanding of the social world, to be extracted from the taxonomy and nomenclature of the social identity groups. Man. The uses of similar to Martinot's definition of racialization as the way, it says, the way race is produced and bestowed on people by institutional society actions, and not simply a condition found in people as their racial category. Racialization means that race is something people do rather than what they are. Racialization means that race is something people do rather than what they are. So if you're saying that Egyptians are black people, what do you mean? Are you really explaining who they are? You're not. Because you can't. 1 second. Sister Juju, where you at? Y'all keep saying address Robert Clown. So what the hell is y'all talking about, man? Hold on. God damn. Man, okay. Yeah, I'm not. See, what rule? Never allow a pseudo. I'm gonna say this again. Never allow a pseudo to control the discourse. They will always drag you down to their level and beat you up with ignorance. Robert Clown, I'm gonna address this one time. Robert Clown made up a whole scenario that did not occur, and then put sources on a situation that did not occur. I don't have to address that foolery. So all you got to do is go back to Sarnetta TV, where Robert Clown is talking about. Robert Clown got tricked by Jabari. See, this is interesting, bro. You got pseudos tricking pseudos. You got pseudo tricking pseudos to make pseudos make presentation based off a pseudo interpretation of what I said. Look, this is damn interesting. Let me slow it down for you. You got Robert Clown. He's a clown in this approach to try to get me. Y'all think he's sourced up. He very well may be. We ain't gonna get into the validity and the understanding of what the sources actually say. We ain't gonna get into that. Let's get into his faulty premise. Never acquiesce to a faulty premise. What's the faulty premise? That I said that Egyptology today or anthropology never used the word black. I've never said that. Let's clear that up. So anybody making a presentation of that is capping. Now, let's get to this point. While Jabari said I said that on Sarnetta TV, Robert Clown got capped out by Jabari and made a presentation off that. So what was it that I said? Watch this. I'm going to show you. Wild. Why ain't you dealing with that? Because I ain't never said it. That's why. Hell wrong with y'all. Y'all let the internet get y'all. I told you the internet going to be the death of y'all. I told you. The internet, right? And hearing people instead of looking it up. Look, here's the source I use, y'all. Look, here you go. Look, right here, right there, y'all. Here's the source I use on Sarnetta TV. What I said was, I said, the Nile Valley contingent. Let me get the people on here. Look, collective members. Look. There where the confusion is. Look, I talked all these people right here, right? Y'all know all of them, right? What I said was, look, you know he ain't using it, right? Look, all of them. Look, my favorite guy. It's my favorite guy right here. My favorite guy right here. You could definitely go to his website where he say black Africans. But when he get into his work, he explains what he means. But none of y'all can understand that explanation. So I can't help you. I can't help you. Not trying to. David Wingro. Come on, man. Now watch this. Now, the conversation on Sarnetta was, I said, yo, when the Nile Valley Collective talks about the ancient Egyptians, I said on their website, I said they do not talk about them in terms of black. They do not use the term on that. That's all I said. While fake Jabari went on a whole nother tangent. Did the same thing Robert Clown did. Start finding Nubians where they say they was black. I say, dude, on this website, they don't use it. I said the same thing about the book that Christopher Eric wrote. I said, Christopher Eric, when he writes his work, right, he does not use the term black. Jabari and him ignored that and start talking about how I'm anti-black and all that. That ain't the question. The thing is, look on this damn website and show me where they said, I said they call them indigenous Africans. See, that was the damn conversation. So if y'all sitting there waiting for me to respond to that fool, I touched him up a couple times already on the nonsense. He made that shit up. And then to be super clear, if I did say they never use it, then the fuck I was wrong. But what the hell does that have to do with the fact that it's a racialized statement is anachronistic, and the Egyptians and the Nubians and the Libyans and whoever was before colonial powers wouldn't have even used that for themselves. What does that have to do with it? What does that have to do with the overall consensus and the certain terminology they're using? They're phasing these terminologies out. Let me explain why they're phasing these terminologies out. Since y'all just wild, they're phasing these terminologies out, specifically in Egyptology, because it's important today in Egyptology. Not when it started at the root of scientific racism, it wasn't important. What was important back when Egyptology started was to infuse the mindset of colonialism onto a people. That was important in Egyptology. What's important in Egyptology today, nearly 200 years later, ladies and gentlemen, is to hear the voices of the indigenous people. How do you hear the voices of indigenous people? By reading their literature. But not only by reading their literature can you hear their voices. You can only hear their voices if you put it in a proper cultural context. If you put it in an improper cultural context, you're going to hear the voices of African Americans, or you're going to hear the voices of the down default colonial powers, or you're going to hear the voices of people from Australia. You're going to hear everybody's voice but the people who actually vote the literature. Do y'all understand that? So no, I'm not paying attention to Robert Clown. No, I'm not doing it. Y'all go deal with it. Since y'all sitting there mesmerized by something I didn't even say. Knock it off. This is constant. Misunderstanding, moving too fast, foolish ship, incoherent ship. The whole 9 yards is at play here. Go back and look at the video on Sarnetta's. Big up to Sarnetta. Go back and look at it and watch Jabari twist what I said, ran to the Nubians, and said shit I didn't say. They will always make the mistake and say what you didn't say and always misunderstand what you did say. This is a constant. Ladies and gentlemen, wild. Look, man, hit that Cash App. Show some love, right? If you click this page, what was ancient Egypt African? Why I ain't say it was ancient Egypt black? Why I ain't say that? In response to recent incorrect claims that the ancient Egyptians were not African, the Nile Valley Collective presents myths, facts about the Nile Valley. So we know this is out. This is gone. Egyptology don't teach that. No, it's the dynastic race theory that he and others refer to. So they don't do that no more. All right, they don't do that race theory. All the sources, right? Go to this site. Look, does Hermetic hypothesis factor into Egyptology or Nubianology today? No, it doesn't. So why they keep telling y'all it do? Did people just show up all at once in the Nile Valley? No. Population groups gradually settled in the region over time. There was no single people or group of people who settled in the Nile Valley and began what we refer to as ancient Egyptian dynastic history. There you go. So anybody talking about this monogenetic population that was in Egypt is messed up. And Diop's did say it was that type of population. And that's why he was wrong on that factor. Okay, because one, the scholars of the day say he's wrong, and this answer shows that he was wrong. But the people amongst you will say something different. Whatever. They give you the sources right here in UNESCO, where y'all claim he got that off. Obviously, he did not. This is another one. Cultural Convergence of Neolithic Nile Valley, a prehistoric perspective on Egypt's place in Africa. Great read right here. Was Egyptian culture African in its origin? Yes. We don't got to keep doing that. I've been saying that from day one. Do the ancient Egyptian artifacts resonate with contemporary people of African descendants? Yes. We don't got to go into that. Look, looking for the black. Did the Nubians simply copy Egyptian culture and traditions? No. Y'all say the damn Nubians is the Egyptians. No, they didn't. And the people y'all use will tell you that the Nubians borrowed from pieces of kingship from them and vice versa. But y'all ignore all that, though. Right? They ignore all that. There you go. Say the choices made by the Nubians combine indigenous cultural elements with aspects of Egyptian material culture, often use innovative ways to reflect cultural entanglements between the long-term cultural memory of Egyptians and Nubian people over thousands and thousands of years. There you go. What else we got here? In the earliest evidence of social complexity and large-scale construction in Africa found along the Nile in Egypt and places such as Nakada. No, I'm going to say this again. Is the earliest evidence of social complexity and large-scale construction in Africa found along the Nile in Egypt in places such as Nakada? No, a number of large carved stone monuments exist at the site of Nothoplaya. That's the one. Thought to be a regional ceremonial center in Nothoplaya. That's a regional ceremony, meaning people from different regions converge in this area. Nothoplaya is located 100 kilometers west of Abu Simbel. It's a human activity in the area began as early as 11,000 years ago. Evidence from this site includes cattle burials, large construction, specific arrangement, and stone, including astronomical circles that suggest the social control and hierarchy. Proposed time frame 7,000 BP. We talked about what BP was and how it was after the explosion of the nuclear bomb to put those radioactive isotopes in the atmosphere. So we say BP before physics. Were the Egyptians always antagonistic towards the Nubians? No. Okay. Could the Nubians live in Egypt and not be slaves to Egyptians? Yes. Does the Egyptian word Nahisi, look, which refers to the Nubian person, correspond to skin color, identity of black? I'm going to read this real slow for y'all. Does the Egyptian word Nahisi, which refers to a Nubian person, correspond to a skin color identity of black? Matter of fact, this is the only time they even using the word black on the whole damn website. But since the listening comprehension is wild and all over the place, Robert Clown did a whole damn presentation based off with another pseudo set I said. I never said it. Go watch the interview on Sarnetta's. I did the whole thing. Jabari popped up there playing. The word Nahisi is related to a verb, bite, or to sting, like an insect. It referred to Nubian people because of their famed skill in archery, as a pun on a string of their well-placed arrows. You know what the pun is, right? Another suggestion is that Nahisi is related to the verb to employ a deity and may reference the renown of Nubian magicians and the incantations they made. There you go. Is there a single African population of physical type? No. You will hear the pseudos say it is. You will hear the pseudos talk about the features, the lips, and all that. They argue that, look on the wall and say, see. But it says no amongst the experts. There are many population groups in Africa that exhibit a range of external phenotypes, including various differences in hue, skin tones, differences in types, and hair from texture. Look, you hear pseudos say they had one type of hair. Say no. Different hair, form, texture, and different. Look, I've argued with dudes that talk about the texture of the hair. They said this type wasn't here, that type wasn't there. I argued with dudes that swore there was one type of African phenotype. I argued with dudes that say they call themselves black. I argued with dudes that can't even see a damn presentation I did, pseudo-rise what I was saying. Other pseudos pick it up. And here we is today with some nut in the chat telling me why I ain't responding to another nut that got it from another nut that mischaracterized what I said. Oh, what tangle where we weave when we practice to deceive. Now, if y'all go to this website, you got all the sources. We got mention of Homo sapiens sapiens evolved, right? You got people arguing, they don't even mess with evolution talking crazy. They don't even understand evolution and talk crazy. You got all that. Man, you know what, man? Whatever, man. Whatever, man. Whatever, man. Whatever. Mm, 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 mm. Watch this. This is going to look real familiar to you. Let me drop the link to you because we just starting to cook. Man, let's hit that. Hold on. We don't need them. Haters. I mean, no haters around me, yo. Don't need no haters around me. I need people that can give constructive criticism. Shout out to the great mother, Sister Kaba. She been there from day one. Unwavering. Even when I got it wrong, even when she told me about dudes. And I waited. Wow, she told it, trust me. I got warning systems around me. I had a warning, but I be like, I can't dive just yet. But it allowed me to be able to plot my course through the minefields. Big up to Sister Kaba, an educator, a degreed educator, a scientifically literate Black woman. We have scientifically literate Black women in our organization, the Pseudo Killers. And oh, by the way, we do have an organization. Difference. Pseudoisms are not allowed. You might different variations of atheism. You might damn near impossible to have a whole atheist group, but we 99.9. Yeah, I mean, because scientific literacy, yo, actually says, right, that, you know, your religion shouldn't affect your scientific understanding of things. So we get that. So we that like no Christian. He's definitely pseudo killer. He's definitely in the pseudo killer army. And he's no Christian. What does that mean? That he's a Christian, but he's not a Christian. I don't quite know. He's somewhere right there. Meaning he's a Christian. It's actually with Dawkins, and I heard Dawkins and whatchamacallit had a conversation. Neil deGrasse, right? And he was talking about how Neil made the point that, you know, there's scientists in America, about 3-4% of them, something like that, they're religious, right? And, you know, Dawkins pushed back. He said, yeah, they might be religious, right? But you can't bring your religion into the studies, right? He said, but also when you dig down into what they believe, now watch this, when you dig down into what they believe, right? They don't believe in none of the walking on water, none of the God, humans, pot by the ground, none of that stuff. And you ask, well, why are you a Christian? Like, I don't know. I'm saying all that to say that's how no Christian do it. How you believe? Oh, nah, I don't believe none of that. I'm just making a point anyway. Hey, without the haters, yo, what you gonna do? Shout out to all my haters. Let me drop the link. Let me invite the haters. Don't come here talking crazy. Don't do it. First thing I want to do is I want to put the link in the chat for anybody that want to join. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Though. Put in the pseudo killer discourse. All right, put that there. Give y'all a second. Put that in there. Give y'all a chance to join first. All right. Maybe I need to find, let me see. Let me find the Sarnetta joint real quick. And then I can get into the bread and butter. You know I got the bread and butter. The bread and butter we'll be doing here. I bet y'all can find it. Hold on. Watch this. Show you how wild they are. Let me see. Where was that at? Let me see. Everybody trying to get it. Let me see. Is it on this one? Was it in the House of Consciousness? No, it was on Sunday TV. It was on Let me see. I think it was Sign of the TV. Yeah, Sign of the Studios, right? All right, let me get you the lives, right? Let me get you the one while I was on there. Did the whole presentation. I gotta go back a few. Hold on. That's gonna be back. Y'all can see the title. I want y'all to kind of look at that. Y'all can see where your man just messed it all up. On purpose. They do that shit on purpose. You got people doing whole lectures off of something I ain't say and was mischaracterized. Pseudo leading the pseudo. Hold on, let's take a quick break real quick, man. Man, hit that link, man. Hold on. We drop these links in here. Y'all take too long. Everybody jump on. Take a quick break, man. Quick break. Cash App break, man. Let me hit that, man.
Yeah, daily crazy for this one, boy. Check. Look. First things first, I corny, freaks all the honeys, dummies, edible place for the gummies, gotta keep them coming, there's a roll of dice, but nothing better motherfucking move but the money. But nothing better motherfucking move but the money. But nothing better motherfucking move. First things first, I corny, freaks all the honeys, dummies, edible place for the gummies, gotta keep them coming, there's a roll of dice, but nothing better motherfucking move but the money. But nothing better motherfucking move but the money. But nothing better motherfucking move. Shoot another invoice. Working 5 to 9, need to get Royce. Yeah, I let her shine, it's the kid choice. Yeah, my humble pie was a bit moist. Unc told me to do it big, bruh. The niggas ain't did it how you did, bruh. Them boys ain't living how you live, bruh. I know you hear me knocking, let me in, bruh. I'm a beacon of light every time that I speak in the mic. Electrolyte, Peter light that's giving you light. See what's done in the dark, go come to the light. Hell raising, you taking a heavenly flight. See the Glock is clipped up, the blunts is all woods, the insurance paid up, my bitch is fed good. The dice in my hand, I smile as I should, cause I'm about to roll a fucking set. First things first, I corny, freaks all the honeys, dummies, edible place for the gummies, gotta keep them coming, there's a roll of dice, but nothing better motherfucking move but the money. But nothing better motherfucking move but the money. But nothing better motherfucking move. First things first, I corny, freaks all the honeys, dummies, edible place for the gummies, gotta keep them coming, there's a roll of dice, but nothing better motherfucking move but the money. But nothing better motherfucking move but the money.
Hey, nothing better move but the money.
But nothing better motherfucking move.
Nothing better move.
With the dice at the crap table, back able to give advice, I'm back stable, back able to take a knife at a bad angle, fuck niggas, do-rag, get them all strangled, in the ring like a Kurt Angle, hurt ankle, lead a boot with the cords tangle, Mike mangle, they just nigga mad, then the bitch, they all angry, but the bread coming in rows, is all gravy, tenders on the strip, bringing fries, it's on daily, plus the strip is really online, it's on daily, soon as I get the first line, it's on daily, po baby, Jasmine Rush, yellow bone lady, gon' page me, yo lady, po baby, late 80s, green circles, close friends,
hey, y'all know what it is, man. Like
this
this
shade tree, cause a nigga know for
man.
First things first, I corny, freaks all the honeys.
The money. Hey, look, man. Look. Nothing better move but the Cash App money, man. What's going on, Chef and L? What's good? What it do?
What's the deal? What's the deal? Where you been at for the last couple days?
Man, you know, shit, I'm a basketball coach, bro. You know what I'm saying? Saving the inner youth through sports. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? The gang banging is raw all over the place, man. The communities you wouldn't even think it should be, man. So just keeping them busy, man. Matter of fact, we got a tournament this weekend, man. We actually running a campaign. I ain't even dropped the link, man. Show some love, man. They traveling, taking them out of town, man. Show some love on that. But go ahead.
No, yeah, it's been kind of hot. I was like, where Unc at? They, you know, because Smash been doing a couple shows. But anyway, yo, you said something, right? About the atheists, right? And and the religious. Yo, you'd be surprised. And I think we talked about this before. You'd be surprised at how many of our people are atheists but don't know how to say it.
Right.
Because saying that you're an atheist in our community has a negative connotation.
Absolutely.
So a lot of our people have the disbelief, but they don't express it through the word being atheist.
Correct.
When you talk to them, you'll realize, yo, you don't need believe that. You know what I mean? So it's just the connotation of that word, because probably the same way with you. For years before I came out and said, actually talking to y'all made me comfortable with saying I was an atheist.
Oh, that's a good point.
Right?
That.
Yeah. So it was, I didn't have none of the beliefs, right? When I would argue with my father and uncles and them, they could flat out see, bro, you're an atheist. You didn't like, no, I ain't no atheist. I just don't believe this. That boom, boom, boom. That was my, you dig what I'm saying?
Okay.
So for a lot of us, right, we just don't like to use that word because of the negative connotation, because we're gonna have to battle with our families. You dig what I'm saying? People gonna automatically look at you like you stupid or something just by the simple fact that you saying you're an atheist. But it's a lot of our people is in that boat. So if you have pseudo killers that's on the fence, it really don't mean that they just can't flat out come out and say it yet. Because I think for like 2 years I was an atheist before I could flat out come out and say it.
Yeah.
Before I felt comfortable saying it.
Me too. I had to devise a way. Remember,
Exactly.
I had to ease it into
black.
community.
You was the black atheist, the real
black atheist. I had to do that.
I don't believe in the state-sponsored religions of Christianity, Judaism, and Islam.
Had to say that way.
Yeah.
Couldn't. So yeah, we all go through that development, right?
Yep.
And so when you start out, first of all, banging on pseudoisms in our community, that's a strike. Strike. Right? That's a strike. Yep. Don't believe in God. Strike 2. Right? You practice scientific liberty. You're out of the game. So we start out. We're not even in the game. They think we out of our mind. They think we following white people, right? The whole 9 yards. If you say the Egyptians ain't black and say they're indigenous Africans, they mind gets scrambled. You know what I'm saying? You be like, and then you say, hey, indigenous don't mean they're not mixed up with other humans, with other molecules. I like to say other molecules. That's all it is, right? You're really in trouble. So the fact that we don't believe, right? The fact that we're not willing to promote blackology and we rather stand on what we actually did, that's all strikes for us. That's why such the haters. They can't get past it. Like, the argument was, okay, we African, we fight for that. Now that the white people now say it, right? No, we're not indigenous African, we black.
Go back to phenotype.
Think about that. I think even if I think we all can agree that if we go by what black is, what our definition of black, the majority of the earth will be black then.
Correct.
That's all I'm saying. Which is fine. Shit, I don't mind. I ain't tripping. Right? But you know what I mean? Seriously, come on, yo.
Which black are you?
Everybody black. The hell with it, right? Bad. But then when we really get into the conversation of just trying to understand the voices of indigenous people, right? Then the dynamics of the conversation has to change, because now we want to rely on what they was actually saying about themselves, yo. And if you claim, watch this, y'all. If you out here claiming that one of the most important things for African Americans, if they know their history, right, then don't you want to know your history through the eyes of the indigenous people that produced it? Why would you want to know the history through the eyes of colonialism, yo? That's the thing we saying, that we want to guard against that. So unwillingly, right, you're actually promoting colonialism when you put certain derogatory terms on the people that didn't know about that. Now, it might not be a derogatory term now, but it sure as hell would have been when they first changed everybody's name up globally. It's crazy. How you doing, Juju? What it do?
How you doing? What up, Sheffrin? I think that was a great point you made, Sheffrin. But
Nubian Juju. What's up?
You know it, right? I got family and everything back in Elephantine Island now. Yeah, I got that flex now. I've actually been there, so
We're gonna do a whole show on that too.
My point is totally different. So I want to expound on the point. So I if I'm mistaken, please correct me, Bobby Banger, but I think that was always your goal, is to make a safe place for Black atheists.
Yep.
It seems as if others already had that, white people or whoever can identify.
Right.
But for Black people, it's different because our culture, our African American culture, our Black culture is tied to religion, Christianity at that. So to say that you're no longer a Christian, you're almost saying you're no longer a Black person, you're no longer part of the family because it's so integral. And I think most people in Pseudo Killers knows this. I am that. Will I talk about it out loud in front of my family? I do not. Do I still go to church? Am I still a member of my church? Am I active participant? Yes, I am. Actually, one of the gifts I brought back from Egypt, from the hanging church where Mary, Joseph, and baby Jesus hid away, I bought for my pastor. So, because it's about respect of the tradition and respect of that culture. I don't feel in any way that I'm being suppressed or I'm hiding, but it's about respect because those how Shali said, the patriarchs of my family are elders. And in no way do I feel the need or the time to sit and battle, the fate of our existence or things like that with my elders. That I want them to live their lives peacefully. And so will I. Like, I live in my truth and I'm gonna let them live in theirs, however they deem fit. So, and I feel like there are more pressing issues that can be had within my family dynamic than, whether I'm a believer or not. But it is about respect, and I respect culture and I respect tradition. And I'm big on that. And Pseudo Killers knows this, but to say it for the people. So if you hear me say things like, yeah, I'm getting ready for church, and I thought you was, well, I am, but I'm different,
But you don't even gotta explain that though, because I'm gonna go to church. My grandmother and them. Y'all got me
exactly. Exactly.
I'm gonna be with my family. What y'all talking about? I'm not sitting there like this. And then if I hear something that makes some sense, I'm like,
I'm gonna agree and not integrate that in my life. Right.
I don't let people control. Listen, bro.
Exactly. Define it for yourself, right?
Define me.
Nobody.
Right. If my family in church, I'm going. I'm not going to church. I ain't going to my mother's funeral because I don't out like that, yo. Missed their whole mother funeral, then realized 5 years later they was wrong. Then wish you could have seen your mother get buried.
You miss out on family, if that's the fact. If church is a big part of our family, and I'm a Florida Geechee, I'm Southern, then if you're going to dispel that from your life forever, then you're kind of missing out on family gatherings and things of that nature. So I say it out loud so people can feel comfortable living in their truth and having that balance. That's why I said it.
So here, you read this for me. Go. You wanted to say something?
Yeah. So, but before y'all move on, that's a great point. But for the most part, I think Black men had been moved along. I can remember my grandfather never going to church, but he would drop my grandmother off there.
I got you. Right.
Every Sunday. That granddad don't never go to church. He would make us go, but that nigga wouldn't go. You dig what I'm saying? So it's like, and I think, and then you will see just more women, Black women in the church, and the Black men then edge back on it. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's like, we started to move away from it generations ago. You dig what I'm saying? But we didn't have nothing else. It's hard to say you don't believe in that no more. You just go along with it. Yeah, we've seen previous generations pulling away, you know what I mean? And now, like what Unc do with the real Black atheism and stuff, we're starting to see more people being able to open up about it.
Correct. And have a safe space, and that's important.
That's a great point. You should be, and then to help you see your daggone history better, you got to have an anti-religious approach to it. That's why we make a lot of mistakes, because we're actually, we are religious in trying to learn our history. It's the craziest thing ever. But read this though, Juju. You moving forward.
Who is Black? One nation's definition.
Now hold on for a minute. I want you to read this through, right?
Yeah.
A little piece of it, because I'm about to play a clip. And when I play the clip, it's going to hit different.
Yeah.
Right? Watch this. Go ahead.
One drop rule defined to be considered black in the United States, not even half of one's ancestry must be African black.
Interesting, huh?
Right.
Go
Because
ahead.
we say, what kind of black are you? I mean, we've had this discussion, right? Because
All right, go ahead.
I hate that
What
term.
kind of black is you? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Australian black. Go ahead.
Exactly.
Native
But
American black. All right, go ahead.
You're right.
Mayan black.
We talked about it. Okay.
Go ahead.
But will 1/4 do, or 1/8 or less? The nation's answer to the question, who is black, has long been that a black is any person with any known African black ancestry.
So then hold on. So that would make everybody.
Correct.
If that's the point y'all trying to make. See how there's no clarity, there's no distinction to understand indigenous populations through that. So it actually effectively stops you from hearing the voices of indigenous people that got colonized and their history got wiped out. That's why you glorify European history so much, because the indigenous history has been washed out. That's why you think the Europeans started science, because you cannot hear the voices of the indigenous people because they're washed out.
Correct.
See that? I don't know why y'all not getting that. But keep going, Juju.
Where was I? This definition reflects the long experience with slavery and later with Jim Crow segregation.
With what?
The what? Jim Crow segregation and slavery.
Slavery to keep going. So hold on. Let's get it. This definition reflects the long history with Jim Crow and segregation.
Long experience with slavery.
So it's good if you understood what Jim Crow was and segregation was. You would understand when certain people make the statement. What are they trying to say for real? Keep going.
Exactly. In the South, it became known as the one drop rule, meaning that
what?
A single drop.
The what though, Juju?
One drop rule.
So there's a rule?
Yeah.
That the pseudoscience is made up? Keep going.
It's actually in law. No, the one drop rule is actually in law, Virginia law.
And they put pseudoscience in law. Go ahead.
Yeah, they did. Meaning that a single drop of black blood makes a person a black. It is also known as the one drop ancestor rule.
Oh, man.
Some courts have called it the traceable amount rule, and anthropologists call it the hypodescent rule. Interesting.
Man.
Meaning that racially mixed persons are assigned the status of the subordinate group.
Oh man, that's hard right there, yo. Meaning that the racially mixed persons are assigned the status of the subordinate group. Back to being subordinate again. Is that not what I talked about? The dominant group over the dominated group racializes you.
Yeah.
Subordinate group. Are you listening to this, Juju? Can y'all hear this? Seriously, man.
Yeah, I know it. It's the whole point you've been trying to make.
Keep going.
This definition emerged from the American South to become the nation's definition, generally accepted by whites and blacks. Blacks had no other choice. As we shall see, this American cultural definition of blacks is taken for granted as readily by judges, affirmative action officers, and black protesters as it is by Ku Klux Klansmen.
There we go. Okay. Y'all got it?
They don't get it.
No.
But it's a point you've been trying to make forever. Why there's a problem with the word black when we're dealing with just genetics and we're excusing the culture, you fuck some things up.
Let me put the banner up. Hold on. I'm going to do it like this. Let's do it like this, right? All right. Let me play this clip. Let me play the clip. Here we go. Play the clip. Here we go.
To conclude, the question of race in ancient Egypt is of great importance in modern society because of Egyptology's central and profoundly disturbing role in the creation of a theory of scientific racism that justified the worst kinds of discrimination, especially in America. Egyptologists might object that many Egyptians, like we see on the left here, Nubians on the right, would disagree with this conclusion, and that's correct. But my point is about American and European constructions of race. By modern American systems of racial classification, the ancient and modern Egyptians would both fall into the category of Black African. As Ann Roth following Bruce Williams pointed out years ago, an ancient Egyptian transported to the American South in the days of segregation would not be allowed to sit at a Woolworths bar, would have to go to the back of the bus, would be barred from facilities reserved for whites. The same applies to most of the modern Egyptians in New.
Did we hear that? See the slide? Back of the bus, Rosa Parks. See that?
Mm-hmm.
You make it a little bit bigger.
That would be Jim Crow.
That hit a little bit different now that y'all understand what the hell he's saying, don't it? Don't it hit a little bit different? A little bit different, don't it, Juju?
Just a little.
A little bit. What you think, Nubian Kemet? Just a little bit different now that you heard the definition, what it really meant. Then you ask yourself, okay, is he expecting us to have a certain amount of understanding? Juju, what do you think, Juju? I think he's expecting us to have a certain amount of understanding there on what he's trying to say.
Of course.
Okay.
They would think that we have a historical context on why that term Black is what it is. Obviously, we don't.
See? Okay. See? So I don't have to talk over that man video. I just let that man say what he said. I understand it. Nubian Kim, and I bet you understand that, don't you? Think we talked about that. I think you understand that.
Yeah. And it's definitely, I think that, it was one way that America looked at it, right? That one drop rule. And then there was another way that African Americans looked at it. Because remember, you even said that we took the name Black on.
Yeah,
right?
we took that on. Yeah.
We took it on. And when we took it on, we didn't mean all of the historical things that the colonizers actually meant about Black, right? When they was calling Indians Black, we didn't take that on, right?
The difference, though. There was a distinction, though. I just have to say that for the Avos listeners.
So the way that we took it on and the way that we use it, we took it on generally to mean people of African ancestry.
Yep.
Of slave ancestry. Basically, what I know y'all don't like the term over here, sub-Saharan African ancestry.
I just don't like it. It's okay though. We get it.
I know, but it gives a geographical context.
And you know what? See, I'm fine with the term.
Gives the same thing as Black. To me, it's the same thing.
No, I'm actually, listen, I don't like the term because of the way people on both sides misuse it. The misuse of it would be that there's a barrier, there's a straight line, and as soon as you cross over that damn line, like the line where it changed from night to day, y'all know what I'm talking about, right?
Right. Yeah. It graduates. It's not just
right. Yeah, and that those people on either side, right, couldn't have went back and forth. Gotta be that's totally what I don't like that game. When people usually say, well, the Egyptians couldn't have did, wouldn't have had that's crazy. They couldn't have had sub-Saharan Africa there, they wouldn't make up the majority of the population or whatever you want to define it, right? Couldn't have, just based off of just geographical location. It just wouldn't make sense. Affinities, you're gonna have affinities on boundaries. But let me keep this going though. Here we go.
Nubians I know and have worked with, even though they might not self-identify that way, all the evidence points to a broad continuity of both groups as Northeast African populations. And in the end, I'm the only person in these two photographs who would be welcome at a lunch counter at Woolworths or would be allowed to sit in the front of the bus and not have to surrender my seat to a white person. The power of acknowledging both Nubia and Egypt as African civilizations is that it destroys the logic of racism, especially American racism with its strongly polarizing view of Blackness and whiteness drawn from slavery. Young observes perceptively that, and I quote, Egypt is the earliest civilization developed in Africa, clearly represented the major potential stumbling block for the permanent inferiority of the Black race, which it was alleged it never created or produced anything of value. Similarly, Trafton points out that this debate lies at the heart of the often polarizing back and forth between mainstream and Afrocentric Egyptology. A hierarchy of race like that developed by Morton, Knott, and Glidden, and still deployed today by white supremacists, cannot be sustained if not one but two great black civilizations arose in Africa at the dawn of history. It is therefore entirely appropriate and even necessary to confront constructions of race for Nubia and Egypt in the recent past and acknowledge both civilizations as African and black, dispelling the myth of racial classification and rank.
Now hold on. So he says this. Now, after he gives you the one drop rule and all that, he says he calls them black civilizations, right? So we don't have to run from him saying that at all. We don't have to add nothing to that. What we need to do is continue to let him talk and watch the discussion, how it unfolds. And then based off your level of scientific literacy and based off your level of understanding the one drop rule, then you'll understand the points he's trying to make. Now watch this.
Thinking that have their genesis with Glidden and the beginnings of American Egyptology. Thank you.
Now, Gates is going to come in and is going to ask a series of questions that will confuse all of y'all if you're not scientifically literate. If you don't understand the terms that was used and the definitions, Gates will confuse you. Stewart and Gates' conversation from this point going forward will confuse you. But wait a minute, didn't the man just say they was black? Here we go. I'm not going to add anything to it.
Hold on. So do you think that Gates was confused?
Gates was trying to push the same thing that Smashing It was trying to push.
So Gates, the PhD, he interjected confusion into the discourse.
He did.
You got to come out and say it, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, he did. Yeah, absolutely. Right? I don't want to sway nobody right now. I want them to hear the conversation. Right? It's important. Watch this. Here we go.
Great. Fabulous, Stuart. That was a fabulous lecture. I don't know if people can't unmute and clap, but that was marvelous. And I think Abby's going to curate the questions, and we're, of course, Peter gave that marvelous introduction, and we're going to let him start. But I do have two things to ask. First, one is a sort of a funny quiz, but I want to ask that second. First is that the Egyptians and Nubians distinguished between themselves in terms of color. The Nubians were always, as you pointed out, painted with darker skin, right? So to quote Cornel West and apply it anachronistically, color mattered in their representations of each other, right? So the Egyptians were represented as, ruddy or lighter, and the Nubians represented as, black or black, jet black. How do you explain that in the context of your marvelous presentation and your conclusions? If they were, but essentially what you were arguing is that you were asking, are we projecting backwards racial difference? But it's there in the visual evidence. So how do we explain it forward?
All right, y'all. You heard him. He said, are we projecting backwards? He's saying, hold on, yo. Are we projecting what we know? Our cultural containers on them. Here we go. Hey, Chef, maybe he was trying to tweak it all out too, yo. You think about that too, based off that statement he just made. Here we go.
Yeah, so I discussed this quite a lot. One of my interests is looking at ethnic identity in ancient Egypt, and make a distinction between race and ethnicity. So race is constructed, as I talked about, as a kind of biological reality, even though we know it's a social construction, but it's based on the idea of speciation. The idea that they're separate in the case of Clinton and Norton, they were arguing for separate, completely separate species.
They were
often you see the argument for substance.
Yeah, they were total
racist. It's horrible reading this stuff.
Right.
But ethnicity is similar in the sense that it plays off of primordial attachments, so the idea of ancestry, but it doesn't have that sense of biological sort of essentializing idea of biology involved. So when the Egyptians were doing with their different coloration, something recognizing that clinal distribution that I was talking about. So if you go from the equator north, people's skin color tends to get a bit lighter, and that's simply an evolutionary adaptation to the absorption of vitamin D. So, for example, my ancestors in England and Ireland had real problems, and so light skin was an advantage. When I go to Egypt and Sudan, light skin is a real disadvantage for me in that area.
So, first of all, this man is explaining evolution, and he talked about race as being a social construct. So then the question is, why did he use the word then? Right? And then why did he feel the need to explain that to Gates, Dr. Gates? He's actually saying the same things that we talk about on the pseudo killers. He's actually saying the same things that I just showed you with sources. Let us continue.
But also people intermix and intermarry, so it gets kind of things get diverse very quickly in those kind of contexts. You can see that overall pattern. So you go to Egypt today, you look in the north, people tend to be a bit lighter, people move around though, so it's not inevitable. In the south, they're a bit darker, in Nubia, darker skill and so on. I think that's what the Egyptians were recognizing when they created these ethnic stereotypes. But as I noted before, for one thing, dark and light wasn't better or worse. So the Asiatics who were lighter to the north of Egypt are represented that way in this ideological stereotype, were treated exactly as contemptuously as the Nubians. This is a mistake that some Egyptologists have made, is arguing that Nubians were, like Wilson and his despised Nubians. Well, the folks from the north were equally despised.
Sure.
But also, you have to realize this is sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I interrupted.
Yeah, so you have to realize, so this plays out in specific social contexts too. So in royal contexts where the king is legitimating his power over the people who surround Egypt, you see this kind of polarizing ethnic stereotype being created. And there they're going for difference. So they're taking the extremes. So they take, the lightest people from the north, the darkest people from the south, and that's how they represent those other peoples with Egypt in the middle. But when you look at other representations of both Egyptians and Nubians, you actually see overlap. So sometimes both Egyptians and Nubians are represented with brown skin rather than red skin. Sometimes Nubians, like Tunutumani in that picture I showed you, are represented with red skin.
Okay, so he's getting into the details that only experts can do. He's giving you a detailed conversation and an answer to what Gates was saying. Listen closely.
Again, signaling these kind of relationships, role as an Egyptian king. And so the color was applied in a very idealizing way and recognized that clinal distribution. But the reality of Egypt would be you would see people of a variety of complexions, people with ancestry more from the north, or perhaps from groups like the Sheridan who came and settled in Egypt would be lighter. Nubian, people related to Nubians like Maherpuri who came in with Martha. So you would have seen, kind of a real range of coloration. When you start looking at more prosaic paintings of Egyptians from, for example, you often see that overlap and variation occurring. I think when we try and make that race, then that's what mapping on and prejudice. It's when we start mapping on these modern ideas.
Oh no!
In a context where
I accept the distinctions you're making between ethnicity and race.
He said, when you start making it a race, you're starting to bring forth modern ideas. What's the modern idea? white people is a modern idea. I ain't even gonna say black people, because you lose your mind if I say that. He said, then you start to put the modern idea on the people. Then why would he use it then? What was he trying to convey to us? He was making a generality so that you can understand the damn conversation, right? Gates come back and say, oh, no. Here we go.
Race. And it's no argument there. But what intrigues me is that both Egyptians and Nubians were concerned often to represent their color. Charles Bonnet's, a difference of color and blackness of skin with the Nubians. The Egyptians did many times, and God knows the Nubians did. When Charles Bonnet found the black pharaohs, you can't get blacker than that, right? So we don't have, there's no clear statement anybody wrote a discourse on color in ancient Egypt or in Nubia. We're extrapolating.
Okay, I know y'all heard that. I'm just gonna keep it going.
But I keep coming back to this fact that it was important enough when the Nubians painted the pharaohs between 1744 and 656 BC, right? The 25th dynasty, which Charles, and his colleagues uncovered, they made themselves black. And why would they do that themselves? You see what I mean? When you talk about the gradation of color, from light to reddish brown to black among the Egyptians, that doesn't explain why the Nubian pharaohs would have themselves represented that way. And I would love your theory about that.
Okay, so listen to his explanation. I'm not going to inject anything. I want y'all to hear his full range of explanations. I know we got to kind of stop the video because you only can play it for a certain amount of time. Here you go.
Maybe you mentioned it and I missed it.
Yeah, no, I didn't really address it particularly, but again, it goes back to the dynamics of ethnic identity. And because they did refer to themselves as Cushites, right? So not as Egyptians.
Right.
And so I think that's part of that, in that contrast. And the thing about ethnicity too is that it's mutable and it's socially contingent, which means it plays out in different social contexts in different ways. And so we have Tutankhamun in his tomb representing himself as looking pretty Egyptian. But yet, like you say, we have other examples where Kushite kings are represented in a more Kushite format, looking darker with a physiognomy that we usually associate with people's farther south. And that also plays out at Thebes during the period of dynasty when these Nubian kings are represented in tombs. You have these kind of dual modes of representation, sometimes in a more Egyptian mode with these kind of Egyptian features, sometimes in a more Nubian mode.
So he's just showing you basically how the Nubians can represent themselves, quote unquote, maybe in the Nubian aspect that's dealing with the different clothes and maybe certain skin colors. It's back and forth thing, but how could a human being go back and forth like that? How's that possible? It would have to be some type of symbolic representation for them to do that, ladies and gentlemen. So then why do we fight over things that was clearly symbolic representation? Let us keep going.
And we see that also earlier, where people, depending on, again, whether a Nubian prince, for example, is participating in a grand ideological ceremony as the tamed enemy of Egypt's, paying homage to the king, he has to look Nubian. But in his own tomb, he represents himself as Egyptian. And so, so that's why the color wasn't the absolute, but it depended on the context, and it's a kind of symbolic signaling, not in the sense of not that sense of absolute color. And again, there were differences for sure. Yeah. And again, there would have been this variability as you go. Some people get darker. That's kind of what they're recognizing, but they emphasize that when they want to make a point about difference.
Right. Well, it's, I think that we should still want to be fascinated by and encourage our students and each other to be fascinated about differences of representational color and throw the biological construction of race in the garbage can of history. We could do that, and we've all agreed on that. But that still leaves representation, and it's a valid and intriguing.
So did he actually hear what Stewart said though? Nope, he doing like everybody else did. They fight back. The man was clear what he was saying. He was so damn clear that I don't even got to add to it. I'm just going to tell you to go back and rewind the video.
In line of inquiry. But I'm going to open this up, but I promise you a quiz. Hey, this is the quiz.
Okay, so that's where we at with that. And, you know, that's the points. Okay, we don't got to fight this. We don't got to continue to act like they're not saying what they're saying. We don't got to do that. All right, we clearly don't have to do that. So if you're still confused about black, then come to science. It would explain you. It's a social construct. So if y'all want to put socially constructed ideas on indigenous people that did not have those particular socially constructed ideas, then that's just what you're doing. It is what it is. But if I'm having a conversation about a population that existed at certain time periods, I want to make sure that I'm not running past the boundaries of cultural context. And I'll end with this last example. Let me see how much time I got left. I'm running up against it, right? I want to show you something. I want to show you something from the Blue Letter Bible. Okay. All right. Okay. I want to come to Genesis 1, right? And say, what the hell is he doing? All right. I'm gonna come to Genesis 1. All right. And I want to show you something. Let me share the screen. All right. Two things. I'm going to show you something here. Look, Genesis 1, y'all can see it. It says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Okay. I want to click this tool. I want to get to the tools, right? I want to come to the word God, right? Now, remember, we're talking about cultural context, right? Right. So I want to click on this word. Strong's number 430 is Elohim. Okay. Now, I want you to see the different words that you can actually translate if you bring it to English. Right. And you wouldn't be wrong. So one, it says plural, right? Rulers. So you could put in the beginning, the rulers created the heavens and the earth. You could also say in the beginning, the judges created the heavens and the earth. You can say in the beginning, divine ones created the heavens and the earth. Or you can say in the beginning, the angels created the heavens and the earth. Or you can say in the beginning, the gods created the heavens and the earth. But it says also plural intensive, singular meaning. Look it up. Look it up. You can say in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Or you can say in the beginning, the goddesses, the goddess created the goodness. My fault. The goddesses created the heavens and the earth. You can say in the beginning, the God-like one created the heavens and the earth. Works of special possession of God, the true God, or God. You could choose any of these things as a translator, and you would not be wrong. But the thing that would make it wrong is to translate the rulers or the judges, the word Elohim, the rulers and the judges, or the angels or the gods, because it would be out of the cultural context of that society in Israel at 300 BCE or 400 BCE. It would not be proper to say in the beginning, the goddesses created the heavens and the earth, or in the beginning, the angels created the heavens. It would not fit their cultural paradigm. But a person could come amongst you and say, this is my translation, they're being racist. They could actually say that. And if you're not familiar with what I'm doing right now, you will be actually confused. Let's come to another part. Wait.
Hey,
yes.
What is that you using? What?
Oh, I'm using the Blue Letter Bible. I'm using the Strong Concordance.
Can you put nigger in there?
Yeah, it's go. I got you.
Niger.
It's Niger. I can put it in 1 second. Let me finish this.
No. Look at the pronunciation on it when you put it in.
All right. Let me just get right here real quick. All right. So this is something that we find African Americans doing when we first come into consciousness. It said, I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. But watch this. Psalms 82. Look, God standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judges amongst the gods. Right? They say, oh, okay. He judges amongst the gods. Right? Then it says, I have said, ye are gods. They say, oh, they say we gods. And all of you are children of the Most High. Yeah, the Bible say we gods.
No,
God,
I was talking about the other gods.
So watch this, though. So if you look at this, though, right, there's words you can put in there. In ancient Israel during this time, first of all, God standeth amongst the mighty, right? 42:10, right? Hold on. Wait a minute. 4:30, you see right there, God standeth in the congregation amongst the mighty. 4:10, that's also God's, right? That's the mighty. It's just the mighty. You ain't even saying God's the mighty, right? Okay. And it said he judges amongst the gods. In ancient Israel, it's just basically saying, and they translate this wrong. In ancient Israel context, it's basically saying that God standeth amongst the rulers of that day and the judges, right? But they're acting like gods and they're going to fall like men, y'all. Proper translation of that. Do you get the point I'm making here? So you can put any word in there and translate it. That's what they doing. They put in a word that fits their culture container, and they put it on an ancient culture, and it doesn't make sense for the culture. It makes sense as a translator because you can translate the way you want to translate it once you understand what I'm just telling y'all. I could definitely put that in there, but would it fit the proper culture container, and would it be the mindset of the indigenous people? No, it would not be if we translated the Kim as the black people, and if we translate the Elohim as the gods. It would be out of proper context. Now, let me type in the word. I think it's Niger. Niger, here you go. Acts 1. It say, now there were in the church that was Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called Niger. And
why
Lucius,
you pronounce that like that?
Because that's what it is. Niger. We, as in the Wapians, we used to say nigger. We was messing them. But watch this. I'm going to show you.
Click it.
I'm going to click it. And Lucius and Cyrene and Manning, which had been brought up in Herod and Tetrich and Soul. So we click the tools, right? And we'll play it. Now, there was a church in a certain province in Antioch that was teachers, Barnabas, Simeon, that was called Niger. Let me click it, Niger. Watch how they pronounce it. See? Pronounce it nigger. Look.
Right.
Strong's G 3526. Niger.
All right.
Right.
Niger.
But that's not the same word.
Yes, it is. And look at the definition.
The word is actual Niger. Hold on, I'm just letting you know the word is Niger, though.
What did the tool just say?
Come on, man, the way you pronounce it, but it's not the word nigger.
What did the tool just say?
It say nigger. You funny.
And what is it?
It say black. I mean black.
Black what?
Surname. It's a surname.
Exactly. For a black person.
It could be that Simeon were dark in color. Absolutely. Yep. Latin, it says Niger or nigger of Latin origin, black. Niger, Christian Niger.
Right. A black Christian.
No, let me get out of here.
Oh my God, you reading it right in your
I ain't gonna argue with you now. You messing it up, yo. You doing the same things you did. I refuse to argue.
That is crazy.
It's not saying that, yo. I'm saying if you read, all right, let me show you something here.
Go back up.
We don't got to back up. Let's get into the explanation of it. It's got it right here. First of all, we know it's a surname, right? Hold on. All right. Man, where's the dad going? Shit. Should be able to explain it.
Just know that this book was written by people who was using racial connotations. That's my point.
No, you messed that up.
Oh my! So you don't. So you think that the actual Christians that wrote that put that in there?
No, I'm telling you, you gotta get the explanation of it. We can't just give it our own Malachi York description. Where the hell is it? Electric database. Damn, it give you a whole daggone. Damn. Text. It'll give you a whole technical critique of it. Hold on. Man, yo. They give you the whole explanation of what they mean. The strong concordance, name, Latin, black, surname. So it's a surname, yo. You gotta know what a surname is. You know what I mean? What's the surname? That ain't it. Damn, man. Swear I ain't got time for that curveball right there, yo. Let me see. Shit. And somewhere in the tool where they explain what it is, yo. They were just saying that they probably was just darker, yo. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, like in Europe, they got dark and swatty. They don't mean what you thinking they mean. And this is why it's confusion. I cannot find, damn, man. See, I wasn't prepared to bring that in there. Hold on.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So I'll get back to it, huh?
You can move on.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. But that's what Malachi York was saying. They took it all out of content. It was crazy. Yeah, they do this shit every time, man. Look, man, we didn't reach, you know, where we at, man. Look, hit that Cash App going out, though. I appreciate everybody coming through, man. Appreciate everybody. John Jones, Juju, I appreciate you. Neven Kemet was good. I appreciate you, bro. Appreciate everybody to stop through, man. Grower 75, man. Black African Power, man. Peace. You know what it is. Bitterman, I see you. Dream Elohim. Nah, I didn't mess that up, man, with the bike. Man, shut up. Y'all crazy, man. Let me show some love. People to show love with the Cash App, man. I appreciate that, man. Let me shout out the people that did, man. Brass, I see you, man. Always, man. A supporter, bro. I appreciate you, bro. I see you, Becky. Don't nobody know who that is. I know who it is. That's love right there, yo. Appreciate that, man. Torres always doing that, man. Ortaz, man. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate everybody, man, to show some love, man. We got to get out of here. We got to do what we got to do. Yo, we'll be back tonight, man. Maybe check and all that. We're going to finish addressing that. So we see where we left off at. Tyson Smith, his explanation of it. And the question is this. Why would Tyson Smith be pushing back on what the doctor was talking about? Why would he be talking about this thing in terms of evolution? That's the question, man. Appreciate everybody, man. That's love, man. Appreciate the shows, man. And y'all know we got some more experts coming. Oh, God damn, we got them. We got them. We went right to the work with the experts. Went right to the glyphs. We talked about the history around certain terms. We talked about the racism in Egyptology. We talked about where the field is today. We had people translating right for us in front of our face. Things they say people can't do. We did it. High-level conversations, man, with Brother Garfield and Brother Unk, man. Got another interview Friday. Tomorrow. So we're going to have about 6-7 more interviews with Egyptologists. We're not stopping. Don't be a hater. Be a participator, man. Man, thank goodness, man. We got the experts, man. Thank goodness for that. All y'all weirdos is putting wild terms in the daggone video that's using our content. Knock that off, yo. If you're going to critique what the experts are saying, yo, show them some respect. And by the way, smash ScamWells. You don't have on a suit when you come talk to us. You look like a Baptist minister going to a wake when you was talking to an expert. I was a sir, how you doing? Let me stop. Yo had on a Nation of Islam suit talking to an expert. When he come to talk to us, he sweatsuited out. Back at you. With that, man, I appreciate all the love, man. Appreciate everybody that came through, man. Hit that Cash App coming out the door. And with that, we out. Black African Power. We out.